Hi there, this is the story of how I overcame envy, and I have a feeling that this is going to help you, and I've been just inspired to share it. So, envy, right? Envy is an emotion, it's an emotion that we all feel, and often it's wishing that you had something that someone has, and it's associated with a frustration or like a negative feeling because you don't have what they have. So you feel envy. And I know that in our culture, envy is seen as something positive, like, oh, I envy you. But by definition, envy is actually a dangerous emotion, and oftentimes it's preceded by jealousy, because you envy something or somebody or a situation for a long time, and the next thing you know, you're just jealous about it. So you go from just envying to jealous. But there are other associated emotions with that. If you've read the book The Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown, we learn that each emotion we experience usually is accompanied by many other emotions underneath. So even when you experience pain, it might just be underlying, and it might be associated with other emotions. So envy often is associated with the feeling of not feeling enough or feeling insecure. And interestingly, envy can also be attached to pride and fear. So if you are like prideful, you're like, I want to do this the best way I can, and then you see someone who is doing it seemingly the best that you think you want to do it. So the natural instinct is to envy them, because you do want to do the best and they're doing it the best. But in the process, if you realize that you are not ready or might not be able to do it according to how they're doing it, then it brings in a lot of discouragement. So let me just share my story, and I think the definition of envy will come along as I share my story. Overall, as I share my story, you will see what envy means, and it can also manifest differently to different people. So here we go. For me, envy manifested more through my creativity, because I'm a creative person and I like to say make videos, and I'm a best-selling author. I love to be able to do things like I'm just following into my creative instincts. In that, there are specific talents that I've been given, such as just being at the beach and deciding to share a story. I don't need to be nervous about it. It's part of who I am. And I have creative ideas that come to me, right? So there are specific natural talents that I possess and that I enjoy, that I have, that are natural and that feel good, all right? So for me, envy manifested in that creative process because I would want to create something in a certain way, for example, video, or if there's a program that I have set out to do. And then I would maybe go on Facebook and I would see somebody who is doing that, but they're doing it so well. So envy would pop up as I would look at them and I would say, wow, that's exactly what I want to do, and they're doing it exactly how I wanted to do it. And then you will know that it's envy, because then I'm focusing on what they are doing and how they're doing it, and I'm focusing on the results that they're getting. I'm focused on them. That disrupts the power from me. And instead of focusing on those talents that I've been given, those unique abilities that I possess within me, within the power in me, then I will just use all the energy to focus on that person, all while making lots of assumptions about what that person is doing and why. So I would go from envy to frustration to feeling like I'm not enough, and then to feeling like I'm a victim. You see that? Because I would say, oh, that person has created maybe this program or this video, and look at how this is turning out. It's because, and then I would make assumptions like, oh, look at this, maybe they have like a team of like 20 people working with them. Those are all assumptions. So then from envy to being assumptive, then to feeling really defeated, thinking, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's feeling not enough. And then to feeling like I'm a victim instead of stepping into my power. So that's how envy showed up for me. And what actually highlighted envy even more was I started praying. Okay, and God has a way of exposing your weaknesses. And actually, it was one of my prayers. I said, Lord, please expose my blind spots. I'm submitting like my desires and other things, all my weaknesses into your hands, because there's just so many things that I need to learn about me. And I learned that God answers our prayers, but we do have a responsibility to play, especially when it comes to the power of choice, because we all have power of choice. So God doesn't enable us, which is good. There's a huge responsibility, especially for self-growth and self-awareness. If we don't know, we don't pay attention to how we show up in the world, the emotions we experience and how we feel, it will be extremely difficult to actually have a relationship with God or with other people too. As I developed my relationship with God, envy also popped up when I used to see people pray. People who have the specific talents or gifts to pray for people and be healed, or to see visions or do certain things, or like people who actually have, like, say, a huge following. I would just feel like, oh, look at that person, it seems like God loves them more than me. Look at what God did for them and all the things they have. I don't have that. So God highlighted for me that was envy. That envy was at my door. Envy was separating me from the blessings that God has given me. Imagine someone like me who can just be anywhere in the world and just turn on the camera and start speaking. But because I had envy, again, which was associated with frustration and a comparison, it kept me defeated and more frustrated, and ultimately a little bit of like secret hate towards those people that seemingly were doing what I thought I wanted to do better than me, but that was ignoring my own blessings and then focus on their blessings. So all the time that I could have used to create, to evolve, to receive blessings, I use that time basically captivating or allowing envy to unfold, because everything we do emotionally, matters of the soul, it's energy. It costs energy. That's why there's such a thing as emotional exhaustion. And that's why there's such a thing as so many different types of rest, including emotional rest. You can be physically rested, but then emotionally be very exhausted. There is energy spent at every thought, at every processing that you are doing for specific things. So what I'm talking about is this envy. Basically, envy was just running my emotional engine, taking away all the energy that I needed to be creative. And I'm here declaring freedom from envy, and it feels so good to be healed from envy. So again, the big highlight for my story right now is envy is separating you from who you are truly meant to be, the blessings that you bring into the world. The culture is the problem, because it's creating this like standardization of what success should look like, and also this instant gratification where it's like, okay, if I'm creative and I make a video, right, and I look beautiful, in my attitude glasses and everything, and then another person is making a video in another place, it's not even this beautiful, and they receive more views. Envy says, how is that possible? I'm supposed to. And that is basically instant gratification, which is rooted in pride. Because when pride really raises high, pride doesn't have a future and a past. Pride is now. Pride is like, I deserve better. This is supposed to happen now. So what that does is, when you're rooted in pride, connecting you to envy, it's making you envy the things that other people are experiencing that you might not even be ready for. But because you have that pridefulness that is rooted in the now, that's rooted in instant gratification, so it keeps you so entitled to receiving everything that you see, which actually takes you even further away from the bigger things you were supposed to receive within your own timing and within your own talents and abilities and blessings that God has given you. So I'm Jocelyn, and I have my attitude glasses, and I'm who I am. I love who I am. There are things that I can do in the way that I can say things. I'm speaking, putting things together. I don't need a script, and that's who I am. That is what I'm talking about. The fact that you are unique and you're supposed to be doing the things in the way that God created you. And when you do that, when you realize your own value within you, then there shall be no envy, because you don't have to envy anybody else. All you have to do is step into the path that God has created for you. Self-awareness is so important. And if we don't pay attention to what's keeping us in cages and what's preventing us from breaking through to receiving the blessings that we were meant to receive, then we will just stay there. It's really important to pay attention. And I think this came as a result, obviously, of lots of self-awareness, but also at one point I surrendered my emotions in my prayer. I said, Lord, show me my blind spots. What's something that's holding me back? I hope you picked up something that's helpful. Just sit down and ask yourself, how is envy showing up in my life? Because envy is keeping you away from your blessings. It's separating you from the uniqueness. It's separating you from the unique gifts that you're presenting in the world. And let me tell you something. You were not meant to come in this world to fit in. You're meant to stand out within the spiritual gifts, even the skills and everything. We're not meant to be similar. So do not be stuck in the envy and the comparison with other people. You can only compare you with you of yesterday, and wanting and being curious about your spiritual alignment, asking if you are actually aligning with every spiritual gifts, all the blessings that were meant for you. I really hope that this helps you evolve, hopefully set yourself free from envy as well, but also raising your self-awareness to really looking at how your soul is doing and what are some of the emotional traps that are keeping your soul in darkness. So when you really come into this presence of accepting and surrendering all these difficult emotions, you start to realize that you can tap into your power to set free. And I did it through prayer and self-awareness. It's definitely very empowering to just feel like I can just do this and I can share it in the world. I genuinely don't care much about how it compares with everything else that you have watched, because that's not the point. The point is me just tapping into my power right now, my power of healing, my power of self-awareness and self-discovery. And I hope that you have discovered something through this video today. And the weather is absolutely gorgeous as well. Take care of yourself, stay healthy, and set your spirit free today.